We continue chapter 2. So in this section, we are going to study chapter 2, verses 19 to the end. So in this section, Paul wants to send Epaphroditus to the church of Philippi. But first, Paul really wanted to send Timothy first, because actually Timothy is the one who has very good fame and reputation among Philippian church members. So he was well recognized by the church members. The Philippian church knows that Timothy is like a spiritual son of Paul. So it is really good even for Paul and for the church members. For Paul to send Timothy to the church members. But actually, Timothy should or must help Paul in the prison, actually, because Paul is in the prison right now, so there is no helper for him if Timothy goes to Philippi. Okay, this is the situation. So, okay, verse 19, I hope in the Lord Jesus to send Timothy to you soon, and that I also may be cheered when I receive news about you. Yeah. Paul really wants to send Timothy to the church of Philippi, and then when Timothy comes back, he also will get some news of the church. Paul also really wants to hear the news of the church of Philippi. Verse 20, I have no one else like him who will show genuine concern for your welfare. Paul already said that and in chapter 2 verse 4, not looking to your own interest but each of you to the interest of the others. Paul encouraged the church members to look to take care of each other, right? To be interested in for others. Timothy is the good example or perfect example. So here, so I have no one else like him who will show genuine concern for your welfare. Okay, Timothy is the one who gets interest for others, for church members. Okay. So verse 21, for everyone looks out for their own interest, not those of Jesus Christ. Okay, so because people, even it's like Paul is in the prison of Rome, but there is a Roman church there, but nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to, help. Nobody wants to be interested in, get interested in Paul and the church of Philippi. So, but verse 22, but you know that Timothy has proved himself, because as a son with his father, he has served with me in the work of the gospel. He served. Serve. So the word serve means it's like work as a slave. Okay, Timothy worked like slave. There's like servant for the church members. So he's a really good example or perfect example of following Jesus Christ, right? Verse 7, if you see verse 7, chapter 2, verse 7, rather he himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. Okay, Jesus emptied himself, emptied his divine nature, and then became human being and became like a servant, right? So Timothy is the one who follows the perfect example of Jesus Christ. That's why he was working as a servant also. Okay. Verse 23, I hope therefore to send him as soon as I see how things go with me. So probably Paul was waiting for the process of his trial in the prison. Okay, so after the result comes out, Paul really wants to send Timothy as soon as possible. But right now, he cannot do that because he's waiting for the trial in the prison. Okay. Verse 24, and I am confident in the Lord that I myself will come soon. Okay, then now this is Paul's kind of belief or his hope. Now his hope becomes like surety. It's very sure, confident. Then he will come soon means he will get out of the prison, he said. This is not a real, actually, the real thing. Actually, it didn't happen actually to Paul because he was martyred in the prison of Rome. But anyway, right now in verse 24, so he's very sure, confident, he says. This is a kind of a faith, we can say. Sometimes, even though we are in very disappointed situation, we are in the desperate situation. So we put our hope in God, that God may help me to help us to or restore or like help us to survive, something like that. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so Paul cannot send Timothy. So now he is going to send Epaphroditus. Verse 25. But I think it is necessary to send back to you Epaphroditus, my brother, co-worker, and fellow soldier, who is also your messenger, whom you send to take care of my needs. Okay, Epaphroditus. Okay, this is a brother of the church. Then the church of Philippi sent Epaphroditus to take care of Paul. Okay, to bring the offering, right? To bring offering to Paul. So, but probably Epaphroditus, he doesn't have good fame or reputation. Uh, that's why Paul used, use the word like, so he's my brother, co-worker, fellow soldier, and messenger, and the one who the one you sent to take care of Paul's need. 5 phrases to explain Epaphroditus means Paul to Paul. For Paul, he is very, very loyal and faithful. He is kind of believable, right? Trustful. So he recommends Epaphroditus. So verse 26, for he longs for all of you and is distressed because you heard he was ill. Probably on the way to Paul, or after he arrived at Paul's prison, Epaphroditus was sick or ill. So actually, usually in ancient time, in the Roman time, or in early church day in the New Testament, it's like if in any religion and any spiritual leader has sickness, and then it's not very recommendable. It probably, for example, it's like if Paul is sick, like church members will be disappointed at Paul. Why? Because church members think that, okay, Paul is very powerful, very spiritual person and a spiritual leader. Then how can God let him be sick? For common people, okay, they say, okay, they cannot imagine like this. They cannot imagine that the church leader, spiritual leader is sick. So in that same case too, uh, Epaphroditus. And anyhow, so he's a kind of a leader, spiritual leader of the church of Philippi, but he's sick. How come? So that's why the church members cannot trust him like that. So there's a kind of emotion, or there was a circumstance that if Paul send Epaphroditus to the church of Philippi, then they probably they do not welcome him, something like that. Yeah. So that's why he said, okay, he longs for all of you. Wow, he really misses, Epaphroditus really missed the church members, right? And he was really worried about the situation because of the church, because the church members came to know that Epaphroditus became sick. Wow. The church members will be disappointed, right? Disappointed at Epaphroditus. That's why Epaphroditus was very, very worried. Verse 27, indeed he was ill and almost died, but God had mercy on him, and not on him only, but also on me, to spare me sorrow upon sorrow. Okay. Yes, literally, Epaphroditus was sick physically, right? Almost died, right? Wow. But God had mercy upon him, right? So, by God's mercy, Epaphroditus was restored from his illness, right? And then this is that's why, so God reduced Paul's sorrow, right? And probably church members' sorrow and Epaphroditus' sorrow, right? That is the meaning of spare me sorrow upon sorrow. Verse 28, therefore I am all the more eager to send him, so that when you see him again, you may be glad and I may have less anxiety. Okay, so that's why Paul really wants to send Epaphroditus, right? Why? Because church members are already disappointed at the illness of Epaphroditus. But when the church members saw that the Epaphroditus are very healthy and good looking, right? Then okay, it is okay. They'll not be disappointed anymore at Epaphroditus. They'll be okay. So that's why this is the meaning of verse 28. Okay. Verse 29. So then welcome him in the Lord with great joy and honor people like him. Okay. That's why Paul encourages the church members to welcome Epaphroditus in the Lord and with great joy and honor people like him. Okay. And because he almost died for the work of Christ, he risked his life to make up for the health you yourselves could not give me. Yeah, so we have to understand the background of this verse. He died. He almost died for the work of Christ. Actually, nobody was willing to deliver the offering, material offering, right? Which was gathered, collected by Philippian church members. But this must be delivered to Paul. Then nobody was willing to deliver it because it is quite dangerous to go from Philippi to Rome. It's a very long way also. Long way. Of course, there is a shortcut from Philippi to Rome, but still very long way. So nobody wants to go there. But Epaphroditus was willing to do it at the risk of his life, right? Because on the way, he might encounter the mobs, right? Robbers. Yeah. He might lose his life. But Epaphroditus was willing to do it. So that's why the word here, he make up for the help. Okay, so that's why he risked his life to make up for the help you yourself could not give. What does it mean? So the church members of Philippi could not deliver. They are not brave enough to deliver the offering to Paul, right? But Epaphroditus was willing. And then here, but the word here, help, means the Greek word is leiturgia. Leiturgia means the according to your Old Testament, actually the word, it is Hebrew word is actually animal, indicates animal offering, used for ritual. So actually, Epaphroditus was delivering the offering, which was used, right? For worship to God. So it means that Paul kind of describe Epaphroditus as a priest, delivering the offering to God, right? At the risk of his life. It's amazing. Therefore, Paul strongly encourages and asks the church members to welcome him, right? You know, in the church of Philippi, this kind of emotion or circumstance was going on. It's like, what is it that it's like? Some people were, we saw already in chapter 1 that some people were spreading the gospel out of selfish ambition, right? And vainglory, right? For themselves, okay? Yeah. Or to make matters, to stir up the trouble for Paul, right? And that they try not to join the suffering of Jesus Christ, right? They always want big victory. Even though they spread the gospel, it's like they do it out of selfish ambition, right? This kind of circumstance was very rampant everywhere in the church. So that's why nobody wanted to do deliver the offering to Paul. But so this is like almost the same situation with contemporary church, right? Nobody wants to join the suffering of Jesus Christ. Nobody wants to be join with the suffering of Paul. Nobody wants to take care of Paul, right? Nobody wants to nobody is interested in the work of God, work of Jesus Christ. What is the work of Jesus Christ? Is suffering. To join with the suffering of Jesus Christ. So that's why Paul, as a spiritual leader, as a spiritual father, a pastor of the church of Philippi, is encouraging the church members to join the suffering of Jesus Christ, to be willing to do the work of God. Yeah. The book of Philippians gives us a lot of insight into our contemporary churches. So it's like to live a life worthy of the gospel means many things actually. Like to join, to be interested in others, in neighbors, and to be interested in the work of God. So both sides, to God, to be interested in God and to be interested in the people, both things. But rather, not glory, but suffering, actually, right? Not, it's like, not the course of honor, but the course of what? Humiliation. Everybody wants to go up in their position, everything. But to follow the way of Jesus Christ is not the way. The exactly opposite. The way of humiliation, going down and suffering. So this book is teaching us this deep truth so that we can practice this in our life. It's up to here. Thank you.